calling from a 732 area code. Who are you? Where are you calling from? 732.
Hello?
Hello.
Hi, this is Alex.
Hey, Alex. What's up?
How you doing? Two things.
Where are you calling
number one,
from?
Your show. I'm calling from Edison, New Jersey.
Oh, cool. Hey, Alex. What's going on? Alex from Edison, New Jersey. Big New Jersey show today. What's
Hell
up,
yeah.
Alex?
The show yesterday was the funniest ever. Now, I don't mean just Sam Seder shows. I mean all YouTube. But now, that being said,
Yes.
Jimmy Dore is different from you in three ways, and I'll tell you three ways you're different.
Okay.
Number one, honestly, he's funnier. And these are all subjective.
You
I
are
get that.
so close to getting hung up on right now,
Shouldn't
dude.
have led with that, man.
Should not have led
Okay.
with that. So now you're on a
Okay.
clock. You have 30 seconds left to finish the rest of your points. And begin.
Fine.
30,
Okay.
29.
He's enraging, and he inspires people to give money, and he inspires me and many of my friends to give money to these non-corporate Democrats. You guys are more serious, but when you talk about Lula, I'm not reaching for my checkbook to give AOC any money. And I hope that you guys won't spend so much time defining yourself as a contrast to Jimmy Dore. But my second thing is, can you do another impression? I love you. That's great.
No. But look, but let me tell you where you're wrong. So,
Fine.
first of all, the Lula coverage should inspire you to open your checkbook up for non-corporate Democrats. Brian Muir actually explained that brilliantly today. And you could write, you know what you should do is you should write a check to Mark Pocan for, if you can, for $50 and save a note and say, thank you for speaking out on behalf of Brazil and for freeing Lula. That's what you should do. And the thing and
I
the
do.
problem
He goes
is,
on Tom Hartman.
Sorry?
I do. He goes on Tom Hartman every Wednesday.
Right. So great. And in addition to that, look, the beef with Jimmy Dore, and it's funny, even Matt just said it off mic, but even what you just framed, like, it's consumptive. We're not trying to be, and I know we have a reputation as being the most smug and arrogant show on YouTube, which is awesome and hilarious to me. I kind of care in the sense that I think it's funny. And I'm definitely funnier, and that in and of itself definitely undermines your credibility. But I'll try to go out on a limb with you, even though
I'm just a jerk off caller.
Hey, well, you're like a Scientologist. You're so delusional. But no, but let me just say this. The difference is there is actually what people don't understand, and if you recall, there was a period of time where I did stuff with Jimmy Dore. And I honestly, if right after 2016, he didn't even have to say, in my opinion, I might not be totally on the same page with Sam. If after 2016 happened, he completely turned his focus to dealing with fascism and continuing to support non-corporate Democrats and all the rest. But the endless whataboutism, the endless false equivalencies, the endless moralism, and the endless just focus on electoralism is bullshit, and it's substantively wrong. It's miseducating people about how to think about politics. And so if there was a dude who did a show that was less wonky than ours, that was less, whatever the fuck, but conveying the same message about power and strategy and capitalism, that would be awesome. I would give it nothing but props, and I'd continue to want to collaborate with him. And even the way you speak about Brazil, I'm sorry, dude, doing a fucking uncritical piece of coverage. This guy will do Syria conspiracy bullshit and then does a credulous segment about a far-right fascist facilitating project which is imprisoning, I'm sorry, dude, one of the most important leaders on our planet. And if you don't care about that, we're not on the same team. I mean, these are substantive problems. If the guy was just more like meat and potatoes, that's fucking awesome. In fact, that's needed. And that has never been the beef, ever. It's in substance, period.
And by the way, as far as I know, Jimmy Dore does not support Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
No, well, he helped her. He had her on his show in the beginning when she ran for office, and he helped her, and that's great. I'm glad he does that. I think he also had on Connie Ella Ing. That's a good thing that he does. Now, I don't think it's a good thing that he immediately starts trashing her, which is probably what Jamie's referring to, as soon as she says like the most innocuous thing about anything. And also, to put your gun sights on Andrew Gillum right now in the context of the race he's in and the implications for voting rights, 2020, not to mention the racial dynamics of it.
Cui bono there.
Yeah, very fucking stupid. So these are substantive things. They have nothing to do with how much you curse, how much you hate, Neera Tanden or Hillary Clinton. Nothing to do with whether or not you want to be wonky or not. You know what? He could have done the same Brazil segment. He could have looked out and he said, hey, Brian Meir, he's talking about U.S. CIA and corporate influence in Brazil. That's the kind of thing that I'm thinking about. Let me have him on for 6 minutes to explain why TYT giving positive coverage to car wash in the mainstream media is bullshit and we should be supporting the Workers' Party. That's actually his fucking mandate. So that's the beef, man.
This is why. This is why your show is great. You have a sense of criticism, I think, unrivaled by anybody. Maybe jank, but that's a maybe at best. This is why I like your show. But his show is hilarious. I'm sorry.
Well, that's cool. But we can honestly, all kidding aside, that's cool. That's cool. You think is funny. That's great. I mean, I'll joke about that all day, but that's totally secondary. The beef in this show has nothing to do with his comedy. I've done comedy bits with Jimmy. I think Jimmy is a funny, entertaining, and interpersonally, in my experience, nice guy. But for all of the substantive reasons he outlined, those are problems in how you're doing politics. And I'm not trying to create broad reactive populism. I'm trying to create a left path to saving democracy and generating some type of what we call socialism, which means different things to different people. But that's an actual thing. And a major part of that thing is building alliances across lines that include not unnecessarily alienating people who, as an example, might support Andrew Gillum. And it also includes recognizing that in today's world, the primary threat is the fucking fascists running it, not something that John Edwards said in 2009 that you can make a clip about to do a false equivalency. That's bullshit. It's wrong. And it's substantively wrong. And if he swears and he's less wonky, that's great.
Not to mention,
okay, then you have to admit that he's a Fox News on the left.
No,
and
I don't.
What? Fox News
no,
works.
He's not. Fox News helps win. Fox News has a strategy. Fox News is fucking relentless. Do you think Fox News would do over 70% of their clips? If they were Fox News of the left, then Fox News would have killed Trump and they would have done segments every day on how he's not a real conservative and he's a sellout. He's not Fox News on the left at all. If you mean stylistically, maybe so. And I keep telling you, that's the part I like and have no problem with. You're missing.
stylistically and pragmatically.
Not pragmatically. Not at all. Not at all. Dude, we got to let you go.
As far as I know, Jimmy does not have any kind of coherent socialist ideology, analysis, or tactics.
He doesn't even have it's really, not even a coherent.
I should be calling him a sellout.
It's fucking sellout.
If you look at what he said about...
It's not coherent progressive, sorry.
Hashtag mind of ICE employees, he used this when he said... Basically, because people were like, well, Jimmy, isn't ICE a problem for your analysis about the Dems being the same as Republicans? He said, well, it's the lower level employees of ICE who really should bear the blame because they're following orders, which, like, I'm all down for, like, the whole following orders thing, but you're blaming the local workforce and not the power structure that you said wouldn't be a difference.
Because you need to build a scaffolding to justify your stupid false equivalencies, and that's more exciting to people instead of the simple... We need something that's not Hillary or Trump. It transcends this whole corrupt, rotted system, and the relative choices are obvious. One is less damaging than the other, and that's less exciting, and it makes less dumb people flock and freak out on social media, but it also happens to be true.
Wow. A lot of people have a lot of opinions today on how we should be doing our jobs.
That is true. But I'm not, that's actually my most sincere, I'm not doing, again, my sincere explanation of Jimmy Dore. Because if you're listening and you're not, completely in a cult, you actually heard me give him a lot of props there. And I'll just say this one more time, none of my problems with that dude have anything to do with the fact that he swears, or he hates Democrats, or he's enraged at the disgusting buffoons on our cable news networks. That's all great. I have a problem with the false equivalencies, moralism, electoral obsession, and fucking standing with whataboutism for fascism. Those are my problems.
And I don't mean to speak for all of us, because as we've said, we have a diversity of opinions here. But I don't think any of us is too concerned that we're punching left with regard to Jimmy Dore.
No, I don't consider it to be.
The reason,
no, I am not.
I think he has opposite and reactionary politics, because I bring this up a lot of times, but the way he got, and he still has this up there, this fake George Orwell quote that says, "A people who elect corrupt politicians," there's the corruption again. People who elect corrupt politicians, imposters, thieves, and traitors are not victims but accomplices. Now, I'm a big Orwell guy. People should probably know this about me by now. There's no way Orwell would ever write that, because he wouldn't center blame on the people. Even if you had only read 1984, he says the people are where the hope is. And Jimmy does not believe that.
No, unless and that's another great irony. Look, if you spend all the time, and actually I have no problem. I think we can actually have some critiques of the electorate sometimes, to be frank. But if you're going to spend all day literally doing segments about why you wouldn't vote to prevent fascism because like some Hillary comms director tweeted something or some bullshit, and you're vote shaming. That's a big phrase they like. Well, that's exactly what you're fucking doing.
To more people than we're doing it to.
To more people than we're doing it to. Nobody, I will match my support for Bernie Sanders in that primary against anybody's. And I never was in a position of saying that people who voted the other way from me that were normal, everyday people were stupid or wrong or whatever. I actually said we need to do a better job to win, because that's actually what the fucking job of politics is. You're calling from a 203.